Hey there, it's Michelle and I'm an ENFP and I wanted to talk today a little bit about growing up in a family full of NFs. So my mother is an INFJ, I am an ENFP, my older sister is an ENFJ, Rachel, and my younger sister Kale is an INFP. So firstly we have my mother, the INFJ. So as an INFJ, she can be a little bit withdrawn sometimes, like spending a lot of time alone. She's very sensitive to noise, so say we're listening to some music and my sisters and I are talking. This can be quite overwhelming for her, especially because we like to talk over each other, and with the music playing, that's a lot of noise and a lot of stimulus, and she doesn't handle that very well. She would tell us, shut up and talk one at a time. She was always very keen on making sure we talked one at a time. Another thing about her is she is very detail-oriented and she has very good follow-through. This goes to her schooling. She finished school when I was in high school and middle school, and she worked very hard. She did everything she needed to do and then some. With her artwork, she's got very detail-oriented artwork, so she loves to bead, knit, crochet. These are her main three forms of artwork, and how she goes about them is she has her pattern and she follows them, and she does everything very, like I would say, perfectly. Like everything is neat and orderly and right, and she always finishes a project that she starts. So if she's gonna start it, she's gonna finish it. Next we have Rachel, the ENFJ, my older sister. So Rachel is very extroverted. I think she's the most extroverted of all four of us. She loves to go to parties, hang out with her friends. She takes her friendships very seriously. She keeps her friendships long term. Like any person that she's been very close with, she keeps that relationship for a very long time and she takes it very seriously. Her artwork is also very detail oriented. So say she has a picture, she will replicate that picture onto paper with a pen or a pencil or paint or whatever she's doing. She is very detail oriented and will make it very perfect, and she loves the perfection of it, and she has very good follow through as well. So if she's going to start a project or if she's going to start some homework, she's going to finish that, and she is going to get really good grades. Yeah, there are times when she stepped away from this, when she had issues with this, but for the most part, this has been pretty consistent about her for her entire life. Something else, she's very put together in the way that she dresses. So her clothes and her outfits are well thought out and they always look good, and she keeps all her stuff in very good condition, and that's something that she takes pride in, is the way that she looks. And her hair too, she always keeps her hair looking really nice too, that's something. So let's move on to Kale, the INFP. So Kale is very artistic and idealistic, and this can lead her to having a proneness to depression, I think more so than the rest of us. I mean, both my sisters and myself and my mother, we all have depression, and I think that's just an NF thing. When you're very empathic, you're prone to depression. But I think my little sister had it the worst. She just feels things very deeply, and she's very protective, and that could be protective of her friends, but it could also be protective of her ideals and of herself. And her friendships, she spends a lot of time with her close friends, and she's very protective of them, and I don't see her as very much of a group setting type of person. She can turn on her extrovert, but no, she's definitely much more of like a one or two friends at a time type of person. And I think that's all I wanted to, oh, and her artwork. So Kale, with her art, is very conceptual. So she'll draw things like from her dreams. She'll draw things, just random things, whatever she thinks of at the time. It's not really going off of a picture, it's more going off an idea. And she uses a lot of color and a lot of weird shapes, and it tends to be a little bit more on the cartoonish side. But her artwork is very awesome and very emotional, and yeah, so that brings us to me and how I'm different. I think of all of us, I spent the most time outside, like in the trees, in nature, because that's just what I cared about the most. I did have a lot of friends, though not a lot of close friends. The closest friends that I had were mostly introverts, and I usually picked the weirdest people that I could find, and I was like, that person's gonna be my friend. I don't know why that was. That's just how it ended up happening. I just liked the weirdos. And I easily will take the role of center of attention, though it's not my favorite. I prefer one-on-one, and I prefer to be like a quote-unquote journal for people. I love people to tell me what they're thinking so that I can tell them, hey, everything's gonna be all right, just tell me whatever you need to tell me. I love to socialize, I love friends, but like I said, I prefer my one-on-one. With my artwork, I don't know if any of you guys have seen me on Instagram or Twitter, but I definitely am more conceptual like my little sister, and I have tried the replication process of like taking a picture and trying to replicate it, but I easily get upset by mistakes and when I don't do it perfectly. And it just takes so much work to get to a final product that I really just don't like it. I'd rather just do something on a whim, spend a couple hours and be done with it. I usually don't like artwork that takes me a long time to finish because I want to move on to my next project. That also being said, I don't always follow through. That can be troublesome. So me and my little sister, we were definitely the most disorganized of the four. My older sister and my mom, definitely the most organized, the best follow through. I would say the most conflict between the sisters and I would be between me and my little sister. We shared a room for a really long time and we were prone to arguments. It's not so much about how different we were, it was just the way that we dealt with things. We were really close, but I think that's why we fought so much. Me and my older sister would usually fight about who was right about something, because Rachel would have a fact that she knew was true, and I'm just like, well, what about this? And she's like, no, that wouldn't work, because that's not true. And I'm just like, but what about? She'd be like, no. And that was kind of what caused our arguments. With my mom, any argument that we had would be not staying in touch is a big one. I have trouble staying in touch, and so that would be the biggest thing that we would argue about or be upset about. Yeah, so overall I would say that we're a very caring group and very artistic, though we all have different ways of going about it. We're all really similar on the surface, and when you put us all together, I mean, except for my mother, I'd say she's the most introverted, but we're all people. We love to talk to people, we love to talk about ideas, and we love to share our empathy with other people. Some of us are more protective of our empathy and how we share it than the others, but yeah, so that's pretty much like a basic idea of what it was like being an ENFP, having an NF family. We, for the most part, got along, but not always. Yeah, we're pretty similar, have some differences. Yeah, I think that's all I really wanted to cover. If you like this video, leave a like. If you have any similar experiences having a family with any of the NFs as an ENFP, INFP, ENFJ, INFJ, please comment down below. Let me know about your personal experience, and I will see you guys next time in my next video. Bye!